And Rachel writes, I'm nearing retirement, but frankly scared to do anything. I hear all the talk about the economy and recession, and it makes me concerned I'll lose what I've worked my whole life to build. I know that doing nothing isn't the best, but it feels like it right now. What should I do? Rachel, thanks very much, and you are in the same boat of so many people that come into our office, the same thing. I'm scared to lose what I've worked my whole life to build, and that is a perfectly reasonable feeling to have, because so many people have it if they have not gone through the ready-to-retire process and built a written plan, because that's where Rachel is. You don't know how to invest, if you should invest differently because you're closing in on retirement, which the answer is yes. You do need to have a different investment strategy to distribute your dollars than you had when you were accumulating your dollars. Makes sense, right? But you don't know what that lump sum even really means. And if you went through 2022, John, I get it, right? I mean, even if you were in a balanced portfolio, a 60-40 portfolio with 60% equities and 40% fixed income, it took a big hit. It dropped by about 10+%. Second worst year on record for a 60-40 portfolio, which is the portfolio historically that retirees have been put in. So what should Rachel be looking to do? Well, she knows she shouldn't do nothing because that's analysis paralysis, right?
You get paralyzed by fear.
Yes.
And rather than be paralyzed by fear, I think, Rachel, you need to take action. And I would, at this particular moment, I would go to your computer and go to getreadyforthefuture.com/steps and download this document, Securing Financial Independence. Rachel, you don't need to be focused on what's on the TV scaring the daylights out of you. You need to be focused on true financial independence. This is not a buzzword that we just use here at GenWealth. We are focused on true financial independence. Scott, as a matter of fact, we provide true financial independence to our clients every day here. We help them to build, secure, and then share true financial independence. That is our mission statement here at GenWealth. When you download this guide, Scott, you're going to get 7 steps to building sustainable life after work. Now, this won't give you all the details. It's a very high-level overview of the steps, but basically it is the ready-to-retire process. We talk about determining your monthly income need, maximizing your Social Security benefit. We're doing a whole workshop on Social Security because it's number 2 on the list. Account for inflation. We know about inflation. Inflation reared its ugly head in the last 24 months or so, and so we're having to deal with that. You also have to plan for health care. Beware of taxes. Do the math and mind the gap. That it really is talking about where things are in terms of, does your income cover your living expenses? Does the secure income that you've got from Social Security and maybe a pension, is that enough for you to cover all of your basic living expenses? If not, then we want to look at the nest egg that you've built up and find ways that we can actually secure all your living expenses for the future. So those are 6 steps. And then the 7th step really is the first step. It is create a written plan. You've got to create a written plan to be able to have some comfort in this. Fear is something that you go through, Scott, when you don't know your way. You've been there before. You've been lost, didn't know where you were. Maybe you were in a bad part of town, and all of a sudden fear takes over.
Right.
But when you pull out the map, pull out the GPS, pull out the phone, whatever the case may be, you find your way. You find your path, and then you're feeling better because now you know where you're going. Yeah. And that's really the essence of the Ready to Retire process. That written plan gives you that direction of where you go. And I think Rachel probably, I'm just going to make a guess here, she's probably listened too much to the talking heads on TV that have been talking about a recession for the last year and a half. It's never happened. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it hasn't happened at this point.
Right.
And so it can be easily done to get into this mindset. But, fear is not something that is any way beneficial to you. Basically, if you're trying to play defense in retirement, that's just not going to work. You've got to play offense, and I think that's something that Rachel should do. Go to getreadyforthefuture.com, download these steps, and then give us a call, and let's talk about getting your ready-to-retire process underway so you can boost your confidence, feel better about where you're going in retirement.
Playing offense, meaning being proactive to build that plan, and we talked about the recession earlier, the possibility of that. It may come in 12 months. It may not be for 2 years. It may not be for 7 years. But, Rachel, in retirement, there's going to be one. If you live a very long retirement at all, there's going to be one. There may be multiple ones. So the point here is to create an investment strategy and a written plan that expects that.
Yes.
Right?
And anticipates that happening. I was just sitting down just the other day with some clients, been clients for a long time with us here at GenWealth. And we've been through a lot in the last 4 or 5 years. There's been a lot of economic ups and downs and things of that nature. But looking at their plan, they are basically where they were when they started retirement, but they had actually taken in about $350,000 in income during that time. And that really is what you would want to do. You want to maintain your principal and begin to pull income and still have the same liquid net worth that you had when you started retirement. Now, each person's different. Each time that they get into an investment, the timing is different. So I'm not saying that that's the result with everybody, but that is the strategy that we undertake here at GenWealth, is to help you have a plan that anticipates what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the markets, not specifically down to, we're going to have inflation at this rate, or we're going to have a recession or anything of that nature. We know those things are going to come. So we build against that with your plan.
We talk about the 3 big risks all the time on this program, and that's really what we're talking about here. The big risks to your retirement are sequence risk, inflation risk, longevity risk. Now, let's take just a brief second to talk about what those are. Sequence risk is, what if I retire and I start selling shares of my investments as the value is going down, right? And that may be what Rachel's worried about. How can I lose money and see the values go down and think about taking money out of that? Well, you're not going to take money out of that in a properly designed investment strategy. You should control what you sell and when you sell it, meaning the money you're going to use today, maybe the next 12 months, maybe the next 5 years, needs to be risk off or at least lowered risk, so that principal is not going to fluctuate like the stock market. So your money should not be in the stocks and the money that you are taking in the near term. However, you still have to believe in equities for the long term. And long-term growth means you have some allocation to equities, but the intent is not to sell them for at least 15 years in the GenWealth Ready to Retire process. And why is that? Because you have to believe in an asset class that has a chance to outpace inflation. And that's the second risk, right? You have to be able to give yourself raises from your income, from your investments to your income over time, because things are going to cost more. We know that's the case. We've experienced that greatly over the last couple of years. And then finally, longevity, you have to have a perpetual plan. You can't have the income totally stop at any date in the future. I jokingly tell clients all the time, John, that if you can give me your date of death, we can build the perfect retirement income plan. But we just don't know the answer to that. So there always has to be income coming through either guaranteed income sources like Social Security, pensions, and potentially an annuity if you need it, or the buckets have to continue to provide income to you.
Yeah, and I think that no strategy assures success. There is no strategy that assures success. Putting your money in a 5% CD does not assure success, because that CD is going to come due. Interest rates are going to change. They may go down. Inflation is going to go up. You're not going to be able to keep pace with the inflation. There is no strategy that assures success. Nothing in this life is assured, but what you want to do is stack as many of the cards in your favor as possible. And I think that's what the Ready to Retire process does. So, Rachel, go download that document, Securing Financial Independence, 7 Steps to Building Sustainable Life After Work. That is at getreadyforthefuture.com/steps.